Customer experience is at the heart of business and digital transformation. Businesses are leaving no tack untried to deliver exceptional customer experiences. Joining me today at the 8th Global Business Summit in Delhi, I have been joined today by Raja Lakshmipathy, Managing Director and Vice President, India and SAARC at Genesys. Raja, welcome to this conversation.
Thank you, Ashwini. Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Absolutely. Before we begin, just wanted to take your feedback in terms of how do you find the Global Business Summit?
I mean, I would say it's an amazing experience, especially listening to Mr. Modi and learning a new term, the curse of incremental growth, right? I mean, I'm going to take it back to my team now, actually.
Absolutely.
So wonderful. Yeah.
It was quite a learning. Yes, I'll agree with you on that.
Yes.
Raju, can you give us a quick overview of Genesys? What does it do for our viewers?
Genesys is a global leader in the cloud contact center and customer experience solutions. Right? Through our AI-powered Genesys cloud offering, we orchestrate billions of interactions for more than 7,500 customers over 100 countries.
Right.
Our vision is to deliver empathy at scale and drive experience in each one of those billion transactions. That's what it is. And India is a growth market for us. I mean, if you look at it, in the last 10 years, we have grown 10 times to become one of the largest engineering and R&D centers outside of US. Yeah. Now, we've also brought our in-country Genesys Cloud node in the year 2021, which helped a lot of our customers to adopt the cloud within the regulatory and framework and the laws of the land.
Right.
So that's what it is. So it's been an amazing, journey in the last 2 years, where it actually surprised us as to how customers are adopting cloud, right? I mean, and across multiple verticals like BPOs, even FSI for that matter,
right,
and retail, aviation, and so on and so forth, right? So that's what it is. So beyond all this, I think ESG also matters a lot for Genesys. I mean, one of our key vision is to become carbon neutral by the year 2030.
Right. Well, I'll come to the Genesys Cloud in a bit. So while we're talking about customer experience, what kind of trends or factors are driving these within enterprises?
See, ours is a very dynamic, industry, I would say, right? I mean, the kind of change that I have seen in the last 5 years has not happened in the previous 25 years, right? I mean, so a lot of things are changing. But if I were to pick up a few trends, right? I mean, I would say digital adoption is a trend that's picking up pretty fast, and this digital adoption is driven by demand side as well as the supply side. What I mean is, there are challenges that the customers are today, or enterprises are facing today, which is driving them towards digital, and there are preferences that is coming from the demographic side of this demand side, which is driving the digital adoption. So that's trend number one. The other one is cloud. Right, I mean, cloud is it's no more an option, right? I mean, organizations are finding it really compelling to move to cloud. That's number two. The third is AI. AI is coming and reshaping every stage of the customer journey that we are sharing, right? Whether identifying the customer, identifying the intent, and understanding the outcome of the particular thing, doing a predictive routing to the right agent who can support them in that particular day, and also assisting the agents and learning and then flowing back into the learning curve is very, very important, right? So the third is around AI.
Yeah.
Finally, data, right? I mean, data is the new oil. I think today data utilization, both structured and unstructured, is the key for anybody to do right business logic based on the customer expectations today. So these are the 4 trends that I see, which is becoming pretty thick and fast.
Absolutely. So digital adoption and acceleration there.
Yes.
Use cloud of cloud, AI and data. So these are key 4 factors that are actually driving the CX journeys for enterprises.
Exactly.
Right. In terms of cloud, people who have not boarded or not on the cloud journey, how would you, what's your advice to them?
Yeah. Look, Ashwini, so what happened, the adoption to cloud, I mean, is propelled, especially after the COVID, right? I mean, it's propelled by the fact that, organizations are finding it really, really difficult to manage the premise inventories and assets that they have across multiple locations. And if you talk about, especially in the BPO segments, it's not even multiple locations within the country, but multiple countries across the globe, right? So one, you need to maintain and manage that. Two, you need to create the right skill sets to kind of be able to support your infrastructure or network and so on and so forth, right?
Right.
So that is the primary reason why organizations felt the need to move to cloud, where it's one cloud. I mean, you can consume it from across the globe.
Right.
You don't have to manage the upgrades, updates, and so on and so forth, right? So that's one part of it. Apart from that, I think multiple other factors are also driving people towards cloud. For example, let's talk about scalability, right? I want to kind of start off small, maybe with a few hundred seats, but I want to grow to 10,000 seats in the next 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, or even more, right? I mean, so there is no limit to the scale that cloud can offer, right? So that's number one. The other one is around flexibility, right? While you're scaling up, you should also have the flexibility of going up and down as you move forward, right? There could be a seasonal peak, or there is an inorganic growth suddenly happen. Can I ramp up? Or possibly we are getting into two different divisions. Can I ramp down?
Right.
All that possibility. The flexibility is another factor which is driving cloud adoption. More than everything, from a technical side of it, if you look at it, it's easy for customers to move away from a monolithic on-premise architecture to a microservices-driven cloud architecture. The reason is you don't have to worry about hardware, tech refresh, and all that stuff, right? Obsolescence and all that stuff, absolutely taken care of, right? You don't have to worry about it because this is microservices driven. You won't even know that. I mean, the features are getting pushed on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, right? You won't. I mean, and second is there are app foundry partners for every sort of integration that you want, right? You don't have to wait and write a code to be able to integrate to A CRM or B CRM, because when you're on cloud, there are already kind of app foundry partners who are enabling that integration or connectors to that particular stuff, right? So that's something. So all these factors, right? The flexibility, agility, security, all this factor is driving towards cloud. And our customers today have a very compelling reason to move to cloud.
Absolutely, right. You touched upon the AI piece, and generative AI, has caught our imagination. So right from boardrooms to classrooms, we have been talking about generative AI. What does generative AI mean for customer experience specifically?
If I talk about AI at large, it actually kind of touches upon every step in the journey. That is number one. Specifically talking about generative AI or conversational AI, if you look at it, right? I mean, it has come and kind of removed this one size fits all kind of an option that used to give in the IVR, where press one to do this, two to this. What it means is you're actually taking the customer through a specific set of things that you thought is relevant to you, which is more inward looking than what the customer wants, right? I mean, so that's what it is. Now, the generative AI or conversational AI is also going through a lot of dynamic changes as we speak, right? I mean, so today, I mean, the use of chatbots, the use of voice bots has completely changed the journey experience for our customers, obviously, right? I mean, so now, while we have our native conversational AIs, we also work with, industry-leading solutions. Like, I mean, globally we have partnered with Lex, Microsoft, Google, I mean, so on and so forth, right? So, I mean, I think this is going to change everything, every step of the customer journey that I could think of in the next 2-3 years. Right?
Absolutely, right. Raj, a final question that I had for you. We talk a lot about customer experience, but it's the employees, and the employee experience is something that takes a backseat. How is Genesys enabling the whole employee experience here?
Yeah, very good question. I think, I keep saying you cannot manage CX without managing EX. I mean, a disgruntled employee is not going to delight the customer, obviously.
Absolutely.
But like you rightly said, it's often, the last mile is the forgotten piece in the whole journey, right? Which is the employee himself or herself, right? I mean, so that's what it is. So it's very, very important that, we get the employee, because one of the challenges today organizations face is the hiring part of it, right? I mean, you hire somebody and let them go in the next 6 months, because by the time he or she is ramped up, but the time they ramped up, I mean, they just leave. Obviously. So that's why it's very, very important that we also look at the employee side of it. And what started in the industry as workforce management, predominantly looking at rostering and then kind of scheduling and then time tag and all that stuff. That was more from a management point of view, right? Then the industry moved to workforce optimization, which is one step above the workforce management, where we are looking at quality management and compliance and so on and so forth, right? So that's what it is. But again, in all these things, actually, whether it is workforce management or workforce optimization, we are still looking at what the business wants, right?
True.
I mean, we never looked into what the employee wants, right? So that's when we actually thought there should be a layer above these two, and which is what we call it as workforce engagement.
Right.
Engagements means you're engaging the employee in the whole process,
Ecosystem, right.
Which means whether it is identifying the training needs for them, right? Here again, AI plays a big role.
Right.
Identifying the areas that the agent he or she wants to kind of do. How do we kind of keep that thing? How do we onboard them? How do we ramp them quickly to be able to deliver the desired results? All this in a gamification mode, right? Not quickly the boring learning stuff and all this stuff. How do we get to them, right? I mean, this is what we call it as a WEM layer, right? So it actually moved from WFM to WA4 to now WEM. And that's exactly what we do on our Genesys Cloud plan.
Absolutely right. Very interesting to know that, Raja. Thank you so much for your views. It was a pleasure having this conversation with you.
Thank you, Ashwini. It really means a lot, and thanks for having me.
Absolute delight. Thank you. That was Raja Lakshmipathy, Managing Director and Vice President, India and SAARC at Genesys, speaking with us. Do stay tuned for more such videos on ET Edge Insights. Thank you.